Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Unprofessionals podcast. I'm CJ, that's Brandon. We are two best friends who like to argue everything movies, TV, and pop culture. Today we are talking about this year's Golden Globes and Primate. Brandon, how are you doing today? How did you feel about the Golden Globes?
I am so good. The Golden Globes always put on a great show. It's one of the only like big shows where they actually are eating dinner, having drinks beforehand. So it always makes for a good show. In terms of the authenticity and the real you know, I don't know how to describe in terms of how much I actually put value to it. That's a different question. But anyways, how are you doing tonight? We'll talk about that in a second. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Enjoyed the Globes. Runs long, but typically these award shows do go much longer. Um, There's some things I really enjoyed about the show. The awards race stuff is really interesting. A lot of interesting narratives we can latch onto. Some things that we knew people were going to run away with. Other things have thrown some wrenches into the system of what we predict for award shows. And so it's going to be interesting. There's many things from a technical level, which I think you're going to get into about that did not work tonight on the Golden Globes. But yeah, other than that, it was a really enjoyable night. I was really happy with a lot of the star power. You had both like the presence of old Hollywood with you had Clooney, you
Julia
had Leonardo
Roberts.
DiCaprio, you had Julia Roberts, and then you also had like a lot of the newer generations. You have like Ava Victor, you have Timothy Chalamet, obviously. So it's a nice mix. Like all the stars were really out tonight, and it's really Hollywood's best shining. And also TV is also celebrated. I'm not the craziest TV watcher, as you know. I really focus on film and cinema, but it's also good for the TV shows to get their time in the spotlight with the movie stars.
Yeah, and a lot of the best actors sometimes come from television, right? But anyways, okay, so yeah, we're gonna first like break down the Golden Globe. Before that, I want to give a little bit of context for the Golden Globes because I don't know if the people watching here really know what it is because it's just people know the Oscars, they know some of the other stuff, but I just have a really big problem with the Golden Globes because it is very essentially it used to be picked by I think around 90 or less journalists from internationally, right? It was like a group of international journalists where they come together and figure out what movie or what people they liked. I think now it's over 300 because they broke some laws, but essentially the reason I don't give too much merit for these awards compared to other ones is because they are very much the reason that they're having these this alcohol and drinking and eating is because they're trying to kind of convert a lot of these the movie studios themselves or the movies that they're like that are getting presented and being the war contention sometimes like to sway voters, sway these journalists a different way, right? Whether it's hosting parties or giving expensive gifts. They've gotten in trouble for that in the past. And I just don't really trust like random journalists from internationally speaking, to give the right answer, especially when they are, like I said, these people want to get like wined and dined. And that's why that's why the awards literally looks that way, because that's what it is. But like I said, I think they host a great award show. But anyways, that's my little rant on that.
You think
Okay.
internally it's a scam? You
Yeah, I just
question the fundamentals of the award show and the people that host it?
yeah, because like I said, it's we don't even know who these people are, these journalists. They're just randomly international. I heard some reports that some of them aren't actually even journalists, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously, and like you'll have like the DiCaprios or these people like thanking them because there's not that many thanking them personally in a letter, giving them some stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's like it doesn't take that much work to do that, and when there's so little, it's easier to manipulate, right? You only have like 100 people in a freaking thing. It's easier to be like, hey, that's it. So it is what it is, but it is a fun award show. But at the end of the day, the Oscars, it's all people in the actual industry, which I think is more important. Even if they do get wined and dine as well, not the same thing because they're people working with it. But yeah, that's my little rant. It's a little bit. It is what it is.
Yeah, the Oscars will always be Hollywood's biggest night, but the question is like how effective are the Golden Globes at highlighting these films, and also like how effective are the Golden Globes at predicting certain things? You look at last year, um, and Nora didn't have a big turnout. The Brutalist got a couple awards at the Golden Globes, but they didn't crush. And then you see the Oscars, who had a Nora completely destroying, Sean
Yeah.
Baker running away with tons of awards, and also a much stronger Brutalist presence. So it really just depends. And as for this Golden Globes, I'd love to get into some of the categories and some of the things we've
hmm
kind of learned about this race.
I
Um,
think
yeah, go ahead.
I think that the better um projection of the actual Oscar voting will go essentially with the when the actors, the producer, the people that actually, are in the field are voting, which is I don't know when that award show is, but
SAG,
when we get
PGA,
yeah,
DGA, things like
exactly.
that.
All those people actually that gives more of an indication because those are the same people are going to be voting for the Oscars, right? All the shows we've seen so far are going nothing to do with the Oscars in terms of people voting. It's just critics and journalists.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's go ahead and get into the categories and just to get like kind of your live reaction. Let's start off with best drama. For best drama, we have Chloe Zhao's Hamnet. What do you think about this one?
I was low key shocked. I'm not gonna lie because I really did think it was a race between. I mean, it was. She was like that was probably the third biggest chances of winning if they had like if for the Oscar in terms of best movie of the year in general. But I thought it was a lock for Sinners, and that was pretty shocking, you know. But I remember when this first premiered at TIFF, which I was there, people were saying that was going to be the Oscar movie. That was the one to look out for. I mean, it has all the makings of it, right? You have Chloe Zhao, which is literally Oscar-winning director. You have Jessie Buckley, who's probably going to win Best Supporting Actress. You have Shakespeare, literally one of the biggest artists of all time, making it, a movie about him and his life, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, it makes sense, but pretty shocking to me. What about you?
Yeah, Hamnet definitely has the formula to really attract the old guard, especially of like Oscar voters and people who are used to kind of the more older prestige type of Oscar films that they're used to voting on. Recently, especially like starting from the 2020s, you have these very odd picks making it into Best Picture. And I say odd not because of the quality of these films, but I say odd based on the standards of what the Oscars and different awards bodies usually vote on. You have film like The Substance getting recognition. You have films like Amy Madigan in Weapons. Like these are not typical awards movies that get this love. And so you're really seeing, I think, in a post-COVID world, especially, voting audiences are starting to become open-minded, and that's probably because there's a changing tide and influx of these people voting. Obviously, the old guard are still going to be there, and they're slowly dying out as the years go by. But uh, Hamnet's a strong contender, I think, and I think this Golden Globes performance only strengthens Hamnet's run. I think Jessie Buckley, she won best actress. She's a lock as far as I'm concerned. Like I think she's gonna win SAG, and then like I don't see any other young actress or actress in the category competing with her. Like even as someone who's a little bit more skeptical of Hamnet, I really enjoyed the film, but I'm not crazy about it like other people. Jessie Buckley is far and away the best performance of this year.
Have you seen
Uh,
Rose Byrne and If I Had Legs, I Kick You?
I have not seen If I Had Legs I Kick You, but I've
I
heard
think
great things from you and many others.
I think that performance is like same level. Obviously, like I said, Jesse Buckley is way more. Like I said, it's like I said because everything I said, it's literally produced. This movie's produced by Steven Spielberg. Like it's way more flashy, right? That only was an A24 little film about some trauma. You know what I mean? This is like it's just Shakespeare and his wife having trauma versus like some random fiction, like fake story. But I think that one would definitely be, and we'll talk about that later. But and to your point as well about like how people are evolving and the old guard is leaving, I think that's also going to play into horror eventually, as horror also, is becoming more of just not just conventional horror, but fitting themes of of trauma, of thrills, of action, of comedy into it. I think we're going to see more like awards being presented to the the horror genre as well because of it. It's very exciting.
Yeah, horror has always been a genre that can kind of include societal issues and different societal like themes and thematics, but especially like starting in the 2010s with like the Hereditaries, you really start seeing a more like intellectualized version of horror. And Oscar voters are eventually starting to catch on, which is really nice. And I want more of a wide variety of films to be celebrated because I think you can have a Oscar level film in various different genres, whereas the horror genre historically has kind of been seen as a little bit lowbrow. But if you look at the criteria that Oscar movies are considered in, you always want an Oscar movie that says something about a broader society, that says something about a good message that they're spreading out. And the horror genre has always had that, just maybe they haven't had the prestige filmmaking. And more directors are gravitating towards horror because oftentimes the money is in horror. They're able to get whatever dream project they have off the ground within horror versus doing a drama or doing a comedy, for example. They just don't have that type of money there. Whereas studios are willing to bet big on horror movies because of the ROI. Plus, you have our tour filmmakers becoming more and more interested in horror. And I think, yeah, to your point, like we're seeing it historically, and I think we're going to see it continue to rise. That maybe one or two horror movies continues to sneak in.
Yep, agreed. Now, moving on to the next big award of the night, which was Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. Once again, sorry, side note, this is like the dumbest thing ever. The reason that there's like two different awards for Best Movie of the Year is because, like I said, they want to have as much Hollywood people in there as possible. And so by having more categories, it has more of a chance to win. Instead of, four nominations, five, you have 10, 8, whatever. And so I think it's still BS, but we'll get to that more after. But anyways, so obviously the best musical or comedy, if the other one was Hamnet, is the other one, the other big movie of the year, one was One Battle After Another. What did you think of that? Let me guess.
One Battle After Another is my favorite film of the year. Very happy for the entire One Battle After Another team. Very excited for Paul Thomas Anderson, who had a gangbuster night. Um, yeah, One Battle I think is one of the defining films of our generation. Definitely, obviously, one of the defining films of the year. We're going to be looking back at One Battle in 10, 15, 20 years and look at it like a Godfather, look at it like an Apocalypse Now, look at it as like this historical film and this historical, like, um, beautiful capture of the current time period that we're living in. And also, like, the comedy and the themes are just absolutely timeless and they're going to be continue to be loved for many years. This is a solid win. I think everyone was pretty much expecting it. What's going to be interesting to see in the Oscars race is can anything challenge it? And then this Hamnet win on the drama side kind of makes you wonder. I think the race has always been One Battle and Hamnet. Hamnet has kind of slowly started to dim as One Battle has started to shine brighter, but our Oscar voters are that old guard we just talked about. Can Hamnet beat One Battle in the Best Picture race? That's going to be the question.
I don't think this movie should have been a comedy musical. I think it's hilarious. I think there is a funny movie, but I think it's definitely a drama. I don't know. Like I said, they get to pick another. Sorry, I'm gonna keep adding little tidbits in there, this and there, because I think everybody should be informed, whoever's watching. And the movies and movie studios get to pick the category they're in, and so obviously, if you're smart, you put yourself in a category, you have a best chance to win in, right? Or at least less competition. And so that's why they put themselves there in One Battle, because I think it is funny, but I do think it's more of a drama, at least leaning towards it rather. Even a satirical, comedy, I think still leans into the drama. I think the main character is funny guy because he's an idiot, but I think But anyways, yeah. Also, before we forget, Jessie Buckley did indeed win, as you mentioned, the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a was it a comedy or a drama? I can't even keep track anymore.
Drama. Drama,
Best
I
in a
think.
drama.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It should be because Hamlet's a drama, but you never know, man. Um, okay, so moving on. Another big win for one after another was for Best Supporting Actress. People thought it was gonna be Amy Madigan from Weapons, as you've been doing really good in it. She got a lot of praise, but it indeed went to Tiana Taylor. How do you feel about that?
That was the first win of the night. And when Tiana Taylor won the first award, for a second, I thought it was going to be a one battle sweep across multiple categories. And One Battle still did crush it. It wasn't the complete sweep like I thought we were getting. But this intensifies the race. It makes it very interesting. Makes you wonder, does Tiana Taylor have a better shot than we've been thinking? Because to be honest, even as a One Battle truther, I've kind of been discounting her. You had that big critics award with Amy Madigan. I thought she would, take a clear lead. But Tiana Taylor winning this could be interesting. She gives a really nice speech, shouting out like the little black girls, telling them to continue believing in themselves. And so, like, Oscar voters are really going to appreciate good speeches. Getting on this stage, what you do in those 2 to 3 minutes you have to speak can start swinging Oscar voters on the front end. And so, for example, like Chloe Zhao gave a very good, very emotional speech that people are going to make reconsider Hamnet. And I think Tiana Taylor does that, especially for herself, to be considered once Oscar voting starts to kick off, because from we're about a week away from Oscar categories being announced. And so people are voting right now. They're finalizing their ballots. And so I think this is a great push for Tiana Taylor, and I hope she continues to succeed.
You made your best point yet, which is 100% true. The biggest part and most important part of the Golden Globes is indeed when you do win is giving essentially like what's it called? Like basically like prepping yourself up and kind of hyping yourself up for the actual voters, which are all in attendance, right? Because like I
Yeah.
said, these are all voted by the critics, but the people who are actually voting are literally in the room in those chairs. And so when you do win, what you do say can what just exactly you said can definitely help you out. So I think that's more of what that is. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I do think it is kind of a little bit of a weaker year for supporting actors compared to other years. Like I don't think there's like one that's like oh my like blowing my mind. Like I think she was really good in it. I didn't think she was like oh my god. Maybe because she also didn't have a massive role and it was such a long movie that I kind of forgot about her. But like by the 2.5 hour mark, I was like I forgot she was in it. Even though she is
She's in a big chunk, even though she is there early
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
She's in about the first 40 minutes of the film. Um, for me, I think she looms large over the picture
Yeah, 100%. I was gonna
because
say that.
everything she does sets into like all the actions
Yeah.
of her in the first half set into motion the entire film.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, when we see her daughter as, like, a reflection of her in a sense, right? So we're still seeing, like, the aftermath, like you said, her presence is felt throughout the film, but I just don't think her performance was, like, you know, like, I'm not trying to be a hater, I don't like, even Amy Madigan, I thought she was really good, but I never like I said, when I saw both those films, I never thought Oscar for either of them, to be honest. Like, I never thought that in my head, right? When all these, like, Leo, Timothy, I saw it in my head.
I would agree. Supporting actress is a little bit weaker, and you really see that because you have two people from Sentimental Value. You have Elle Fanning and Inga Obster Lilius. Um,
Sorry.
and Why are you laughing?
Because it's just instant that you're like, oh yeah, it's weak because sentimental value.
Not specifically sentimental value. I think the performances and sentimental value are good, but like when you have like congregations of two actresses in supporting, and you can't really highlight any others, and then you have Amy Madigan, who's a horror pick. Then you have Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, which is a film that's been extremely weak. Like it almost feels like to fill in their supporting ballot, like people are really stretching and really trying hard to think of women that are deserving of the supporting actress nomination. And so I think you're right. Like not to say that Tiana Taylor's performance is bad. I think her performance is fantastic and it's really
Yeah,
emotional, but it's not an insane transcendent performance. But Tiana Taylor here is benefiting from the group of actresses she's around that they're
of
not it's
course,
not the most competitive pool to your
of
point.
course. You could not
Emily
only
Blunt in The Smashing Machine is by many people cited as a weakness of the film, in fact.
I thought she was good, but you make a good point though that it is true. Like you can only give, you can only like compete to what you're given, right? Like she can't ask for better or worse competition. It's just what she's given. Well, speaking of sentimental value that you just you talked about, in my opinion, it was shocking. Stellan Skarsgård did indeed win Best Supporting Actor for that role, and that over people's picks of Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro. There was like even Jacob Elordi. We all thought he was probably fourth or fifth pick, and he got the dub. What do you think about that?
Great performance. Again, not fully convinced on the sentimental value hype train, but I think his performance is very solid. He's a historic actor, and he's given Hollywood three amazing, talented sons. The
Hmm.
Skarsgårds. I think that again, this is a situation where Oscar voting has kind of opened up, and it's going to be interesting. This definitely intensifies the race because a lot of people were projecting Elordi. Elordi won critics, but it looks like he didn't really connect with Golden Globes voters for some reasons. So we'll have to
They didn't
see.
pay enough. Netflix didn't
What
pay enough.
what I really appreciate about Skarsgård's speech is he said cinemas should be in the cinemas. And when you have people like Ted Sarandos, when you have David Zaslav in the audience and the camera's panning to them, um, it's a powerful message to send to
You,
voters who really care about protecting cinema.
you know what's kind of funny? Like at the Critics' Choice and even Golden Globes, most of the big wins were indeed from Netflix Warner Brothers films, which is kind of funny because they might, if they merge, they kind of be the same thing. So
Yeah.
that, like I said, and if that's going to continue a trajectory for this year and next, we definitely have to make sure, it's going to be a big importance if Netflix and Warner Brothers are the ones that are actually winning the awards for in terms of for theater experiences.
Yeah.
But 100%.
One more thing on that category. Obviously you have this split between Sean Penn and Benicio del Toro. Many people are worried that the one battle vote is splitting up between them, which
Right.
might be actually be hurting one of the individuals. I mean, Benicio del Toro, I personally would vote for Sean Penn. He's my favorite supporting actor performance of this year.
Agreed.
But it seems like as a total community, the voting community really supports Benicio del Toro and has continued to uplift them. You have Paul and Leo talking so much about how they paused production to meet with Benicio, and Benicio came in with all these fantastic ideas that they then incorporated into one battle. So Benicio has been the one that's really been celebrated. I was expecting him to come in and hopefully get the Globe to kind of really kick off his awards race. But
Right.
although I keep seeing all this talk about Benicio and all this Benicio love, I'm not seeing it accurately reflected when it comes to awards. To your point, we'll see if he is able to pick up maybe a SAG award, but I'm not seeing enough Benicio love to really make me feel confident that he could execute in the Oscars.
Really quick question: is the SAG Awards like the closest award to the Oscars in terms of like dates? Like, is it
I think
the one?
so because it's the beginning of March and then Oscars is
Okay.
mid March.
Yeah.
So they're about
Okay.
a week and a half
Yeah.
apart.
If for anybody here, if you guys just want to get to like, I would recommend just watching the act like the SAG or all the like the awards where actually the people are voting are that because that one should probably give you the most clear answer, right? Because of all not only like all the momentum and also like it's them voting, but to your point, not only like it's also a harder chance for Sean Penn to win because I mean if he does win, it'd be his third Oscar, which would put him in high like class. Like not that many actors, I think it's a handful, and not even like more than 10 that have won 3 Oscars, right? So that's definitely I'm at least I'm assuming it's part of like the contention because that's a tough thing to
I'm
do.
not I'm not despite how much I love Sean Penn's performance, I'm seeing two things. I'm seeing the voter base not really connect with him, and I'm also seeing him not really campaigning all that much.
Yeah,
I'm
he doesn't
not
care.
seeing I'm not seeing enough Sean Penn. If he could really I feel
He
like
doesn't
Sean Penn
care.
could put a little bit more effort. I mean, I think they showed a picture, a video of him taking a smoke break during one of the
Yeah,
breaks
yeah, yeah.
in the middle of the globes. Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
he's a character, and because of that character, who he is in real life, that's how you're able to get a Stephen J. Locke job. But I just wish he cared just a little bit more. because
No, I agree.
I want him to win. I think his
I
performance
don't
is brilliant.
I think it's the best, as well. I honestly I don't think he cares that much. I like obviously
No,
he cares, but I don't think, like I said, cares enough to after winning 2 and, like, he's already like, "Oh, I gotta deal with all these, whatever." Like, he's literally like I said, I think honestly right now he's a 4th favorite. I don't know why. I think it's literally like, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like you said,
he's
I think it's
lagging.
a great point of you made, like, of the split of one battle might definitely mess up everything. But anyway, speaking of one battle, the other 2 major awards that one battle did win, of course, is Best Director and Best Screenplay. I don't know why they don't have a Best Adapted Screenplay. If they want to keep giving out random awards, make another one. But anyways, what do you think of that?
Yeah, they don't split the screenplay category. If they
Why?
did, I think. Oh, I don't know. I'm just
That's
saying they
so
don't.
dumb. They want more awards? Okay.
If they did, obviously Coogler would take original
Yes.
and Paul Thomas Anderson would win adapted. But nevertheless, best screenplay, Paul Thomas Anderson. Best director, very happy for Paul Thomas Anderson. He is my favorite director. I love seeing one battle after another being recognized and being shown so much love. I'm not personally satisfied until Paul Thomas Anderson gets his first Oscar, and I hope he gets multiple.
By the way, as we get into the middle of, like, us announcing awards, I do want to talk about something that I noticed that I forgot to mention, but I want to bring it up now, is that they were having betting odds in the middle of the show doing those live things. What do you think of that? Because that's something we've never seen before and definitely plays a part into the whole art aspect of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, so this company called Polymarket, where you essentially can bet on predict or not predictability, but what would be the word? Chance.
Um,
Like, um,
Betting odds, just odds.
yeah, essentially you just bet on kind of the odds of what would happen. And during the commercial breaks before it would turn to commercial, it would show the percentage. So, for example, you'd have like Sinners, 98% likely to win. So
Score.
there are two things I have a problem with. Number one, there's a moral issue. Okay, because I'm not a sports fan, but I know people who love watching sports. When they do watch sports, they're just inundated, completely drowned every single second with betting apps, betting odds, this, that. I mean, it's a key part of ESPN now. Like, it wasn't a part of
Mhm.
major sports broadcasting before. They wouldn't really talk about the betting odds. That'd be its own secret little underworld. Now it's just publicly promoted, and I think it's a moral corruption to sports fans, especially so many young men who are coming in here to watch sports and then they're starting to sports gamble. I think it's horrible. And that's the last thing I want to see to happen to movies, and especially like something number one so subjective like art, to be having these betting odds and these lines on what's most predictability. Yes, we're here talking about, oh, who's going to win the Oscars race, who's going to win SAG, but that's more so just for fun. We're not here to try and make money off of it. So I think number one, it's morally problematic for viewers that are watching this, and I'm sure thousands of people probably went on Polymarket and downloaded and created an account or whatever. Ads work. They work for a reason. They do it for a reason. And then number two, from an actor's perspective, they were showing the Polymarket odds in the awards. So you'll look to your left or your right, you'll see a big screen and your category's up next. And you'll see your name, and you'll see your name predictability 5%. And then you'll see another guy's name for 95%. If I'm in the audience, if I'm up for an award that night, I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I'm seeing,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm seeing one battle 95% and my movie's at 2%. Some
Yeah.
movies didn't even have odds. The percentage of people betting on those movies were so tiny, they didn't even put them on the goddamn screen. So, like, not only is it morally reprehensible to be teaching your young movie loving audience to start betting on this shit. Number two, the artists are seeing how people are betting and how no one has faith in their movie winning. And another thing, to just wrap this whole fucking bullshit up, most of the time the odds were right. So, there was not really any delineation. There wasn't any grand upset, because it's not like, there's not space for an upset. It's not like it was 50-50 two movies. There was always a clear dramatic winner. So the lines are fucking bullshit. It's horrible for young men and young women. And also the actors are probably annoyed as shit. So I completely hated having Polymarket be a part of this at all.
100%, which is why, that is the biggest pile of BS in my opinion. Like, I understand they're always gonna be betting stuff, right? People bet on literally like who's gonna get a Cheeto next day. That's fine. Like, I get it, but having it in the middle of an award show is very disrespectful. And like, this is why who's the woman? It was Julia Roberts that said, "Go watch Sorry Baby." Who said that?
Yes. Yes, Julia
That's why
Roberts.
That's why it was so good that she did that because, like you said, if you're a freaking artist, right, you're here to make art. It's already annoying that it's an award show because, like you said, art's subjective, right? Just like you shouldn't feel bad because somebody chose you. That's just their opinion, right? It doesn't matter. It's not freaking science. But on top of that, seeing your name like at the bottom or not, or like not even seeing your name at some points, like in the betting odds, it's just it
Yeah.
makes other people, not only the audience but also people watching, like not want to watch your film as much, right? Because if you don't know, all that ultimate, like all the top 10, like if you're going for the best picture, I would all ultimate to watch this, right? Because they're there. But if you see like the last like four don't even have like a chance, like you know what I mean, don't even think about it. It's just degrading your film as well for the public audience and yourself, and it just makes it a horrible experience for everybody.
That's a beautiful point because at the end of the day, art is subjective, and the whole reason we do these award shows is to celebrate artists. And it's not just to celebrate the big stars like Timothy Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio. More so, it's to put respect on the name of the artisans, the people behind the scenes, the people that are in the credits and you never hear them, the people who are staying up late all night painting sets, the people who are painstakingly sacrificing away from home, putting their heart and soul into their craft of creating this film. That's really who these award shows are about. Yes, stars are nice. Yes, and awards are nice, but you're there to celebrate movies and the art making that is movies. And so having live betting odds in front of that is just an absolute joke. And it's just like an added layer of just dystopian bullshit that we constantly see nowadays. Like it honestly felt like a dystopian like award show happening.
Yeah, and speaking of other bullshit things that happen in this Golden Globe ceremony, like I said, this freaking Golden Globe is all about the glitz and glamour, the dinners, the alcohol celebrities, and so they never value the behind the scenes, like you just said, right? This is a show about front and center A-list celebrities, and the only one that you can consider smaller than that is Best Original Score. And with that, the one that won is the Mini Go coming up. People would say he's probably the best young composer that's going to be contending for hopefully one of the greatest if he continues the strategy is Ludwig Göransson for Sinners. He just, and he won Best Original Score. But of course, as the Golden Globes are, I'm assuming this was very much on purpose. They decided to give when he actually got up and gave his best speech, it was during an ad break because they didn't want to give any airtime to anything that's not
Horrible.
A-list number one celebrity. And
Horrible.
that to me is so disrespectful and so beneath everybody, and everybody should be ashamed whoever made that happen. That is a
Yep.
disgrace. We already have. You're already ignoring everybody behind the scenes. Whatever. I understand that's your award show. Do what you want. But on top of that, even the awards you actually have, you're undermining the people actually doing behind the scenes work that you don't see on screen. That is disgraceful. I think that's on purpose, and I think that really speaks volumes to the type of people that are actually running this thing. In my opinion.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, you already have a 3 hour and 15 minute long award show. You don't have an extra 3 minutes to show us the Ludwig Göransson speech, even if you can't do it live. Later on, show the speech, rerun the speech. Now you have to go on YouTube just to see this guy talking. And I say this guy, but Ludwig Göransson is a legitimate composer, one of the best composers working in Hollywood today. He did Sinners. He did Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, for which he won the Oscar. He's worked with Nolan on Tenet. He's going to also be composing the biggest movie of 2026, The Odyssey. Like, put some respect on Ludwig Göransson's name. And then second thing, put some respect on Sinners' name. You're willing to put Sinners in the front table. You're willing to give Sinners box office achievement, but you're not willing to highlight that Sinners won Best Original Score. And not only that, a film that is deeply related to culture and music winning Best Original Score. Like, that is just, it's really gross. And that mixed with the betting just leaves a horrible taste in the mouth because, again, you're not there to celebrate art. Rather, you're just worried about the bottom line and you're just worried about dollars. And so I think it's a very poor decision. I would hate to see any award get cut, to be honest. But, if it was me, there's a list of awards that can be cut, and it should not be Best Original Score for Sinners winning.
100%. And the best point you made there is that indeed, if there was one like best score in history of cinema of like importance to the film and like ties in completely directly, is this? I think it's Sinners. I think it's like it's literally the score for Sinners. I think it's literally one of like the most like hand in hand. Like you need this film or else
It's
it wouldn't work at
fundamental
all.
to the film.
Yeah. Just like, I mean, like it's literally a part of it. Like it's literally its own screenplay, if that makes any sense. Like it's its own thing. And 100%. And and that's why I should have known when we saw like Box Office Achievement, which is another BS award just made for like I said, for audience members. It's for viewers and people to just be like, oh, you know what I mean? If when every time, I think it's now a tradition. Every time I see Box Office Achievement, whoever wins that is not going to get any awards that mean anything the rest of the night. I
Correct.
think that's an indication. I think that's just we invited you because
Correct.
you're up there, right? You have A-list stars, you're there, but it's not going to do anything else. And so I knew the disrespect was going to start since then, and I'm freaking
But
pissed off about it.
a beautiful point, Brandon. Let's go back into history. You say that Box Office Achievement is just for people that they want to highlight. They want the big stars, they want the promotion, but then they don't want to respect them on the awards end. The last two winners, Barbie,
Yep.
Greta Gerwig's Barbie,
Yep.
ended up winning very few Oscars, if any. I think it won one or two. I don't remember what categories, but not any major
Best
categories for
original, I think best
Barbie.
original, yeah, but song, I think Billie Eilish, I think that's about it. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. And then Wicked, right? So they very clearly see this award as, let's invite the big movie that made over $1 billion. Sinners did not make $1 billion, but it made a shit ton at the box office.
Yep.
Barbie makes $1 billion. Wicked makes a bunch of money. They come up there, they accept their award, we all clap, and then let's get them off the stage so we can have the other movies get awards. Now, many people have been talking about how Sinners has been disrespected. I don't personally think Sinners has been completely mistreated the way a lot of people are portraying awards movies have been disrespecting Sinners, but this doesn't help my argument when you see something like this happen, and they do this to
Yeah.
Ludwig, and they do this
Yeah.
to Sinners.
I don't think it didn't get 1 billion, but it definitely like for the sort of viewership,
It
attracted the
was
black
huge.
audience, right? Like the black audience
It
is
was
gonna go see this
huge.
because it, like I said, it's a cultural thing, and so
Yep, it
having
was a
them
cultural
being is,
phenomenon.
you know what I mean? It's getting, because if Sinners wasn't at all, then a lot of the black audience wouldn't show up. A lot of people that feel represented in that film wouldn't show up. And this one, like I said, it's just, like I agree with you though. I do think it's not, like I said. I think one
But
battle is just. Go ahead.
I mean, to that point, like, let's tweak this award name. Let's call it like cultural impact. Let's really elevate. I mean, cinematic and
That's
box office
better.
achievement. Like what?
That's
Like
so
let's
like
talk about.
gimmicky.
Yes, let's talk about cultural impact, because box office achievement. You're not picking the highest grossing movie.
Yeah, you're
Neja 2.
not.
You're
Yeah,
not pulling up
or
with Neja
Zootopia, at
2
least any
or
one of those.
Zootopia. So
Yeah.
clearly, it's not the most money maker. Okay, and
No, it's the most
let me
viewership.
let me be clear. I'm not mad that Sinners won. I'm glad Sinners won this award, but it's just kind of the
Yeah.
optics around how Sinners has been treated during some of this award season. And then mixed with this idea that, let's talk about cultural achievement. Barbie, big cultural impact. People were showing up for Barbie. Wicked, the first one at least, big cultural impact. People were very excited for Wicked. This year's Sinners, I can't think of a more culturally relevant film that really pierced the culture.
Yeah.
You see smoke and stack. You see the costumes. You see people throwing Sinners themed party, Straw Hat Goofy through a juke joint party. Like,
Yeah,
it's
people looking at
pierced the
history,
culture.
yeah, 100%.
And so cultural impact, I think, is a great award. Like, rename it, retouch it, but make it something to where people can be proud to say that Sinners
Yeah,
won this.
because like you said, we're talking about a award show that has to do with art, right? But then you're putting a category that's about numbers. So, but instead of making about numbers,
And then not rewarding the highest number.
that's what I'm saying. If you like, you're already making it dumb because you're putting numbers into an art show. But on top of that, and so instead of making a number show, make it like a culture thing where that's also subjective. It's artistic, right? And that one is way more, at least in my opinion, not as gimmicky. That one at least is interesting. Like you really define the year of culture, whether it was through social media or everything in general, rather than box office. That's just dumb. That's just numbers, right? And like you said, they
Yeah,
don't even get it right every year if that's the case. They didn't get it right for Wicked, or they didn't get it right for this one if that's the case. So, but
yeah.
whatever. It is what it
One
is.
one more thing I want to mention about kind of mess ups, and then we can move on to some more of the categories. There was play-by-play announcers. Another thing taken from the sports world. There were two announcers during the entirety of the Golden Globes that did a play-by-play. Essentially, they were in the booth, an actor would win, and then they were just meant to kind of, talk in between while the actor walked up into the stage.
Yeah,
On
commentate.
paper, this is not a bad idea. On paper, this could be a fun idea. The problem is these commentators absolutely sucked. And the
Yeah.
reason they sucked is they would make the most nonsensical, useless piece of information they throw out there. For example, let's talk about Timothy Chalamet. He won Best Actor in a musical or comedy. Big win for Timmy. He won the Critics' Choice Awards. Now he's winning the Globes. This is fantastic. He stands up. He's going up to accept the award. The play-by-play announcers are talking about, is he going to thank Kylie Jenner? I mean, what an absolutely useless piece of thing to add in there. Don't talk about Timothy Chalamet's performance. Don't give a fun fact about Marty Mauser. Don't give him credit about crushing it at the box office. No, talk some shit and mention Kylie Jenner like you're a 12-year-old girl. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And there's so many other horrible examples
You
of them
know,
doing that.
yeah, it's funny. The way they were commentating kind of reminded me, because I mean, I don't know the other one, but I know one of them I think works for Variety. He always sees on red carpets
Yes,
a lot.
he asked
And
horrible questions.
yeah, he's on red carpet a lot. And as somebody that's attended a bunch of red carpets now and doing more, the way they were commentating very much sounded like, so when you're talking to people around you in the red carpet, like your buddies next to you, about like the gossipy stuff, right? What's he going to be doing? Is he going to ask? Like stuff like that no one cares about when you're actually in presence, when they actually get awarded. And it just was very, very frustrating, not only as a viewer, but also somebody that's, respects journalism, respects reporting. It just looks really bad because we're just looking at like the new, like, like the new gossip TMZ type stuff. And it's just disgusting and makes it honestly made it for a worse show. So
TMZ type stuff is exactly the way to describe it. I mean, the things they were adding were absolutely useless. They should have just had one great, strong fact for every person, and then whoever wins, they can say that fact while they watch the person walk up, not just pull the first thing they could think of out of their ass.
yeah, I mean, in sports, funny enough, in sports, because I also have a mind like a background in sports. A lot of times, like as you know, the point of a sports commentator, like not the one that actually announces stuff, but the commentators add very relevant stuff about this, right? About what they're actually watching and giving context, like you said, to make the viewer more interested in learning more about them. Especially when
Yep.
it's like not an interesting time, like whatever. Like obviously, like for example, like when it's a blowout, people the job of us commentators is to keep them entertained, even though it's a blowout, so people keep watching. And obviously, when the actor is going up on stage, there's nothing happening, so they're supposed to do something to fill that gap in, right? And then having the Kylie Jenner thing is like, it makes it truly a disgusting freaking time, but whatever.
And another important thing about the commentator, other than bringing expertise, they also help craft the story. In sports, there's tons of storylines.
Yep,
This quarterback facing this quarterback, this
yep,
defensive line, whatever it is. And so, awards, it's the same thing. We're doing the same thing on this show right now. We're talking about the different storylines, the different narratives that are going on. And instead of being additive, you're just being reductive and going down to what you mentioned, your TMZ level monkey brain, and you bring it down to the lowest quota instead of actually being additive to the award show and the storylines happening.
yeah. It is what it is. Like I said, I think it would have. I mean, like Timothy's breaking records, right? I think like he's like one of the youngest with Marlon Brando. Like those things that people actually that are watching the show are interested to know about, rather than because Kylie Jenner stuff it goes like already. It's already like you, especially that like you know what's happening. Like it goes unheard of. Like it's not like oh my god, you know what I mean? It's like something that's already there that we could just see either way. I don't know. It's just it is what it is. But anyways, we
Yeah,
can move on. So speaking of Timothy Chalamet, I want to talk about this. He obviously won for musical comedy once again. I think we can both agree. I don't think the number one thing we think of Mario Supreme is comedy. I think it is more of a drama than a comedy. Funny moments, yes, but
it's
you
pretty,
know,
pretty funny.
it is funny, but I think it's way more of a drama. It's literally like you said, it's what's it called? Like a not a fairy tale, like a basically like a cautionary tale. You know, even though I actually funny enough, this is a side thing, but I was with my a bunch of my friends this weekend. The ones that saw it did not, of course, they did not view it that way. They thought the point is to be like Mario Supreme.
Many young men, like I said in my
Many
review,
young
many young
men.
men are gonna
Yep.
confuse this, but that's okay.
Yep. Including
It's
some of
the
the people
the
that made this film.
the charm of being a young man. You can kind of be stupid.
Yeah. But anyways, so I want to talk about this because not people are talking about it surprisingly enough. Obviously now Timothy won back-to-back stuff. He's now finally winning awards again. And if you've noticed, every speech he's given since he's actually, since the whole debacle of the controversy has been very humble, extremely looking to praise other sides himself, literally like praising Kylie Jenner, right? Like he's literally praising his partner, like everybody else outside of him. And I think that's a genius strategy from him because obviously the start of the campaign was very much cocky like his character. But as like I remember, but I mentioned weeks ago that people, the people that are voting for the Oscars are freaking people in the Academy, his friends, fellow nominees, or I mean, like all producers, directors. It's not just people like in the critics, people that it's not a sports game where you can decide if you win. No, if you have the best performance ever, but you're an
People
asshole,
don't
they just
like
won't
you.
vote for you. That's what I'm saying. And notice how the past every time he's won, he's giving more and more humble, being super like nice about it. Everybody around him. I think that's very genius. Trying to twist the turn to make sure everybody around him actually is going to feel like good about voting for him, rather be like this pretentious asshole. You know what I mean? I think that's a genius move by him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we noted this when we saw the critic speech when he was kind of
Hmm.
nervous. He was a little bit more reserved, and a lot of people were like, "What the hell's going on with Timmy?" And we clocked it immediately. We know
Yep.
what's going on with Timmy. He sold the hell out of a movie. He was
Yep.
cocky, like he
Yep.
should have been, and it sold
Yep.
the movie, and it's made so much money for A24. But now it's awards mode. Now he needs to be nice. Now he needs to play nice. Now he needs to smile. He needs to shake hands with all these people. He needs to see them at event after event, and he wants people on his side. And so him bringing it down, him being a lot
Yeah.
more humble. He talked about his dad, so he made it a little bit more personable. He added that personal touch. He thanked his nominees. Yeah, I think it's smart what he's doing. It's smart that he's turned it down, and I think if he wins SAG, it's over. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna get the Oscar.
If SAG, I 100% agree. SAG to me is a defining factor. I don't think it's
But
a lock
the
yet.
question is, will SAG give it to him years back to back years?
That's a good question. But he
You
made a
know,
good point because the first strategy of I think that's a good point. I think there was two strategies for him in terms of marketing himself. The first one was the loud, super crazy for everybody, internationally, nationwide to see it.
and
But
that
now
drives box office.
exactly. But now
And
it's
now
the
he's
same
driving
mentality. but internally.
Awards. Yep.
Internally and quiet. It's not. It went from loud and external to internal and quiet. It's the same strategy,
Yep.
I think, but I think it's very much nobody
It's
know about it. I'm just
it's
gonna be
all
doing the behind
it's
the
all it's all meticulous for
Yep,
sure.
and behind the scenes and nobody, as I'm saying, I think it's the same strategy, just the opposite end, and I think we'll see how it pays out. It's very interesting. All
For
right,
sure.
moving on to the best performance for a drama. This was a category that people, there was a lot of great contenders, but indeed, in my opinion, a great win for Wagner Moda or Wagner Moda. I don't know. He's Brazilian. I don't know how to say Wagner. I didn't.
I
Okay,
think
I
Mora.
know. Yeah, I know Portuguese. I don't. I didn't. Okay, whatever. Is he? Yeah, he won Best Actor in a Drama. The first Brazilian to win this award ever for the Golden Globe, which is kind of crazy. You saw Secret Agent recently, I'm pretty sure. What do you think of his
I have.
performance there? And do you think he won? Do you think he deserved it?
I have. Well deserved, not expected though. Very happy it ended up winning. When you look at this category, despite me wanting Michael B. Jordan, when you really think about it, Wagner Moore's performance in The Secret Agent is fantastic. We're
Yep,
really seeing the strength of Brazil. Last year for I'm Still Here, the Brazilian actress had won at the Golden Globes, and
yep.
then same thing happened with Wagner Moura this year. Obviously, he makes history putting his country on the map. That has to be a very rewarding feeling, especially it being a film that's extremely personal to the history of Brazil, extremely
Yeah.
personal to dictatorships, what it means to fight back in a dictatorship, and so just really powerful stuff. And it makes the race a lot more interesting
Mm-hmm.
because for the Oscars, you have this conversation where Timmy is obviously going to be in the running, Leo's going to be in the running, but based off what I'm seeing, if Leo doesn't start picking up steam, I really think the race could be between Timothy Chalamet and Wagner Moura.
And that'll be
And
the first time ever, right? If like a non like
I
American or
think so.
English actor winning Best
No,
Actor.
no, I don't think so.
Who's you don't know who's? I'll search it up. Continue.
No, but but I think a lot of people are discounting Wagner Moura, and I think this is really a sign that Wagner Moura could be very strong
I mean, it's
going
funny,
into the
like,
Oscar race.
as somebody that's studied Portuguese for, like, 10 years, Brazilians are extremely passionate about film, probably more than most Americans, funny enough. Like, they are insane. There's a meme going on online for the past, like, 10 years, like, a thing called "Come to Brazil," where they ask all the celebrities to come to Brazil because they just love the celebrities so much and love the culture of all that stuff. I don't know why that came about, but they love all the art stuff. And like if it was just an award show of just the people in terms of like if Brazilian voters could do that stuff, they would win every time because they are so passionate about their stars and about film in general. And I don't know. I think it's a crazy. I think it's one of the most biggest surprises of the night, and I think it's well deserved. And I mean, and he's great. I mean, he's been another American. He's been in Narcos. He's been in the Civil War recently. Was it Civil War? Yeah, he's been in a few things that are really good. And I can't wait to see. Like I said, this is going to be very interesting to see in terms of but I don't know. I like I said, like it is interesting though because I don't know actually for the Oscars, like for the people that are voting for the Oscars, how many of those because most of them are probably American and English, right? Like British. You know what I mean? Do you think? I think that kind of affects it, right? Like it. I think internally, right? Because it's hard. I mean, because this is
The Oscars is much more of an international body compared to, or the Academy is much more of an international body compared to any of the unions like SAG or DGA,
you
because
think
American
okay,
unions are naturally union based. I mean, at the Oscars, you've seen more of an intensification of international cinema. Obviously, with the Parasite win, that's really a defining moment for the
yeah,
Oscars. I don't think the Secret Agent could win Best Picture. It will be nominated for Best Picture as one of the 10,
hmm
but what I do see happening is Wagner Moura taking it away from Timothy Chalamet and it not happening and him winning Best Actor. I really do see that happening.
that'd be pretty crazy. I just like I said, I'm just wondering because I just feel like so many people. I don't know because I do obviously this like the Golden Globes is all international, right? So it's a lot of countries. But I feel I don't know. I don't know if you're right about that. Like the Oscars are more like because I feel like there might be bias towards more like an English speaking person. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like just because not because it's right. I just feel like they're just more leaning toward that because they probably watch those films. I don't know. Like and I said I don't even know if they're required to watch it. I think they are nowadays required to watch those films, right?
International films are a lot more celebrated at the Oscars, and Wagner Moore is a powerful performance. And his speech was really moved a lot of people. I
Yep.
think he has a great chance.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to see. I wouldn't be mad about it. I know everybody else would because, like I said, the most normal
Most
people that
people
watch the
don't know
movies
what they're talking about.
they don't even know what Secret Agent is. Um. Okay, so for then we have I mean best original song went to Golden from K-pop. That's fine. I honestly think it should have been Sinners. I
I would
forgot
have
the
liked
song
I
name.
Lied to You as well.
Yeah, I lied to you. Yeah, or even the other one with the girl in it. That's my favorite song of the movie actually.
The
I
girl.
forgot. Yeah. What's it called?
Oh, Perlene.
No, but what's the song title of the Sinners song? That was like,
I Lied to You is the only one that was nominated, I'm pretty sure.
oh, okay, whatever. I like the other one better. And that's about it. So, I mean, another, speaking of categories that actually did get aired and did get the actual speech was best podcast, which is kind of funny. That one got the freaking, Amy Poehler got up and talked for a few minutes about it. And by the way, that's a wrong choice. The best podcast everybody knows is Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, even though that's not even on the freaking list.
Not
Um,
nominated. Good
yeah,
pod
this
though.
is BS. It's the best pod. And another shout out, one really quickly to the Studio Forbidden West Best Comedy Series. Like I said, if anybody here loves movies and movie making, and also kind of funny stuff, right? Like at the same time, because like if you're making a movie, it is chaotic, and they choose to laugh at in this thing, and they kind of satirize it. It's a great win for the studio. But that's about it. I mean, like I said, it was a crazy night. One after another, won most of the awards as expected, and then the rest, and there was a few surprises in there. But I think an overall pretty successful night, and honestly, it makes it way more intriguing for, like you said, I don't know what the next big award is. Is it BAFTA?
Possibly, I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be really exciting to see how that actually turns out. But yeah, what do you think of the night overall?
I enjoyed it. Obviously, many issues that we've cited. Get that poly market shit out of my face. But as for a celebration of cinema, I think it was effective. I hope more people start checking out some of the films they've missed. Like for example, I still need to check out If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, and that
Yes,
Rose Byrne
please.
makes me want to watch it even more. More people need to go watch The Secret Agent, so I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, that wraps up our Golden Globes coverage. But now we're moving on to, like, there was a few movies that came out this weekend, but we want to highlight to start off with the one that's, horror. It's always a great topic, right? Because if people always argue about it, have fun with it. It's always something that, at least, any horror, even the bad ones, are definitely at least a reaction. A lot of times it's bad, sometimes it's good, but I think it's worthy of a discussion. So we both saw it this weekend. Do you want to give a rating out of 10 in a, like, 3, 2, 1? Do you want to do that? Even though we already know our score, spoiler, but because it is what it is. We watched it at different times. But do you want to?
We don't typically plan on sharing each other's scores, but this time it got spoiled for the other. And
Yeah,
so let's go ahead. Let's do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, 6.
4.
All right.
Yeah.
You gave it a 4. I gave it a 6.
By
Do
the
you want to
way,
get
just for
started
the
on your
record,
thoughts?
because we're in the same like Golden Globes episode, so I want to give you guys, yeah, the one that won best drama at the best picture at the Golden Globes, he gave the same exact score to. So he thinks Primate is as good as Hamnet. Everybody
But
watching, continue.
I don't compare Hamnet and Primate. Obviously, Hamnet is a much better film than Primate, even though I gave them both 3 stars out of 5. So that's you're trying to disparage my name, but people know that I know ball, and so it's not a problem. Anyway, so Primate was the first film that I saw in 2026, and I thought this was a good start to the year. This is a good base hit. This is not groundbreaking, but it's also not trash. It's a really fun time at the movies and a really exciting horror movie. This is directed by Johannes Roberts, a British director who is no stranger to directing features about a monster and people getting killed. He's also the director of the first 2 47 Meters Down film. And so
Oh,
if you've seen those
mm,
Sharks movies,
that makes
Primate could
sense.
also interest you. He's also done a bunch of other horror projects that are less notable, but mostly known for his 2 shark movies. But now he's applied the same exact formula to a monkey, a pet monkey named Ben in Hawaii. He's a pet monkey to this
No,
beautiful
he's a
family.
chimpanzee. You goddamn idiot. Monkeys don't have
Chimpanzee,
tails.
monkey, same
Monkeys have
thing, whatever.
tails.
He's a chimp. He's a giant chimp,
There you go.
and he belongs to this family,
He also belongs to the
and
streets.
he gets rabies, and he just starts killing people. And it's an exciting time at the movies. And I'm going to lay out, once Brandon gives his thoughts, why this is such an exciting time at the movies. I had a lot of fun with Primate. Very violent, very gruesome, good tender heart at the center of it. Great film. What did you think, Brandon?
I knew this movie was gonna be stupid and dumb and bad when he
Nope.
got bit by a
It's only
mongoose. That's like the funniest thing ever.
Why is that funny?
That's the most random thing. Not a rat, a mongoose. All right.
There's mongooses.
I
Mongooses.
know. Okay, I know. I just, like I said, I honestly, I was the monkey practical in some parts because it kind of looked practical to me.
Oh, that's a great question, Brandon. So one of the reasons why I think this film is so fantastic is practical effects, from the gore to
Doesn't
many
make it
set
good. It just
pieces.
makes it cooler.
This, hold on, it does make it good. Hold on. Practical effects are what I want to see in cinema. As a cinema fan, I want to see practical effects, especially in horror, because the horror genre gets to play around the most with fantastic practical effects. And just like you, Brandon, I was looking at that monkey and I was like, well, it doesn't look CGI, but obviously they can't use a real ape. What did they do?
Thank God we're here. Thank God you're here.
This is a human being in a chimpanzee suit. This is a actor, a performance actor. His
Little
name
person?
is No, it's not a little person. This is a normal sized person.
Then how?
Miguel Torres Umba. He's about 5'9". He played Ben in this movie. Miguel Torres Umba. He's an incredible performer. He really takes on the mannerisms and the physicality of the monkey. It's incredible what the film is able to do with this guy in a monkey suit. Not for a second does it look fake, and it's not CGI, but there's just something about it that makes it look so real, yet it's not any type of enhancements. It's a real legitimate suit. It's incredible what they were able to do on this movie. It's absolutely seamless. And this actor in this monkey suit is able to capture so many emotions that this monkey, Ben, goes through, from love of the family to anger and also inner turmoil, because there's some scenes where this actor has to like fight the rabies because the rabies is like taking over his better judgment. And he acts the shit out of this monkey, and it's amazing.
I didn't know that. That is pretty fascinating. I'm just more confused now of how he's 5'9", but looks like a lot. And obviously he's crouching down, but the monkey didn't look 5'9" standing up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, great camera tricks. I mean, this is what I want to see. I don't want to see no fake CGI monkey. And a lot of these horror movies sometimes opt for terrible CGI, and it makes it a terrible movie. But the exciting practical effects, the great kills, we'll talk about the gory bits in a second, elevate this movie. So Miguel Torres Umba is not a household name, but he's known in my household after Primate.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of the film, was the monkey itself. I thought it was really dumb, though, most of the decisions made in this film. I thought, like I said, starting off like already, like, I like I said, I don't know. I feel like the guy, they're like, basically it starts. I don't want. Are we doing spoilers?
We can get into spoilers.
I
Go
mean,
watch The Monkey. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, like it's like basically if you want like a dumb, stupid fun time, like that eventually in the movie does kind of know it's dumb and fun, then you know. But as somebody that I expected to be more serious than it was, that's why I think the transition ship didn't work for me as well as I expected it to be a little more like of a straight movie, and then it kind of like stupid, and I didn't.
I don't think the movie is that wacky or stupid. I think it keeps it pretty.
Are you
grounded.
kidding me? That freaking car scene.
Why? What's wrong with the car scene? The monkey opens the car door with the keys.
Bro was literally mocking her, putting the car on and off, like opening the lock and closing it.
Chimpanzees are incredibly intelligent creatures, and
bro,
also
he literally put his pen.
Hold on.
Okay, if you're debating this with me, you're
number one. Chimpanzees are incredibly intelligent.
You thought they were
creatures.
monkeys. You thought they were monkeys.
Number two, this is a domesticated monkey / chimpanzee. This is a domesticated one who knows how to communicate using the tablet that he has. He knows people's names. And so you're telling me he's not smart enough to unlock a car?
I don't think he's smart. I don't think he's smart enough to get the right keys, look her in the eye, put his arm up, start beeping it up back and forth at the same exact time properly as well, and then unlocking the thing. Come on, man. He got the right at the same time. Hold on. He got it at the same time. And if also, if you're in the pool, I'm sorry. I know I did enjoy the fact. Speaking of okay, so this idiot, the one, like the guy of the movie, right? Like the main guy that's like a love interest for one of the girls. He's smart enough to know, because I didn't know this, that they can't swim. I didn't know this, but he's not smart enough to think, hold up, instead of going at him like at the edge of a freaking cliff. If they're scared of water like he knows, why don't you just throw water at him and see how he reacts if you're already at the edge? Instead of, let me swim to him at the edge of the pool and try to manhandle him like he's not stronger than me. Like, that's the stupidest thing ever. Like, because he's not swimming, he's not even looking.
So here's the problem with what you're saying is when you're in a tense survival situation and this primate has just scratched his best friend's little sister. Has just scratched her, has seriously injured her. He's a man. He has his adrenaline pumping. He doesn't know what the hell to do. And he thinks he can overpower this monkey. This makes complete sense.
So
and he tries. Dumb. No, it's not. He tries to fight this monkey, and the monkey throws him off a cliff. And that's it. And that's
I
what
get if
happens,
you're
and that to me that makes complete sense. All right, so explain to me why it does not make sense for this male character to try and fight the monkey at the end, or at the beginning, early on.
because, bro, if you're smart enough to know it's a chimpanzee that cannot be in water and he also is sick, why is the first thing you think of is to freaking go at the edge? He's also, by the way, the chimp when he's trying to about to confront him at the edge of the cliff. They literally make sure to show, earlier in the movie, oh, we're at the edge of the cliff, like where the pool is. And so instead of throwing water at him, if you're in a pressure situation, like you're saying, oh yeah, he's like in his headspace or whatever, that's fine, sure. Even though they should be safe there because they know he can't swim. But your mindset should not be let me swim right to him. By the way, he's swimming a breaststroke, so he's not even swimming like this, looking at him. He's looking down at the water up until of course, the monkey grabs him and then messes with him, whatever. And obviously,
To
and
be
it's funny
fair,
because that's
hold
how
on
even when
though.
he dies, like they
He
decide to
does.
be like,
He
oh, let's
is
make it extra.
successful.
So let's make it.
He is successful because he does push the monkey over
Yeah,
the ledge.
somehow
the
he
monkey
kind of
then
is. Yes.
the monkey or the
Yeah,
ape
the writers were like, we
reverses
gotta make
him,
this
throws him down, and then you see this great shot of him falling down, and then his head. You see his head slam on a rock, and you see his neck crack open, and the blood pour out.
Yeah.
It's a great shot, and it's great stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
and
it's a
you
great
don't
shot,
know how people.
but like I said, everything you just mentioned.
People. Here's the problem: people are not rational when crazy, dangerous situations like this are happening. He saw an opportunity to take out the monkey.
He's
He was
rational enough to
almost
know to go in the
successful.
water.
But that's a quick thinking thing, and then exactly.
And
exactly,
then and if you know to do that,
exactly,
you're already
hold on,
okay. So now you're safe.
Exactly. He's successful in saving everybody once, and then he goes, okay, here's my chance to end this shit. He tackles the monkey, and also his character was already very headstrong because you see the point where he's trying to wrap
in the freaking edge of the water.
He's trying to push him off the water. Yes, okay, of course. Listen, the guy didn't know he was gonna get reversed like a fucking WWE star and get fucking slammed
The only
into
reason
the
that he got reversed, he shouldn't even got, like I said, you know how you said, well, it actually turned out to be a kind of decent idea because he actually kind of won for a second. They purposely wrote that bullshit. They wrote it like that purposely to make sure. See, it's not that bad writing because he actually beat him. We all know that monkey would it would be in a second chimpanzee would have been able to do that. They purposely did like that, and then that cool shot of his head getting exploded.
And also stop acting like in every single horror movie, every single little decision is perfect. Because you could pick apart any horror movie.
I agree.
And here's the thing. As an audience member, naturally, whenever you watch a horror movie, you're always saying, that's stupid. Don't go in there. But guess fucking what? We don't know. We know more information than they do. That's the whole point. Okay?
But like I said,
of course, as a viewer, you're able to separate yourself and take a step back because you're in the theater.
Look, I understand, like I said, if you're in a closet, but they're literally in a safe space. When they're in the pool, bro can't get to them. No. So that's why, unless you decide to be by the lights. Another thing, if there's like 5 of you in the pool, wouldn't it be smart to at least one of you be like, all right, one person have a look at the monkey, at the chimpanzee every time to make sure to know where he's at. He was literally he became that's why purposely
you're being a nitpicking.
His theme was Halloween. His theme music was a Halloween theme music.
You are nitpicking like in the most annoying
way
possible.
Bro, what do you want from me? It's a survival horror movie.
You're nitpicking in the most annoying ways possible. But like you're just you're trying to pull, like I said, like this movie is fun. It's a fun, dumb 80 to 90 minutes film. It's competently made. It's well shot. Great practical effects.
Listen, I also was expecting.
Go ahead.
Look, I can appreciate a dumb, fun horror movie, but to me, it played it straight a lot of the time, which is why when we got to the scene of him essentially like harassing that college kid, that was brilliant. I was dying laughing. Brilliant. That was so funny,
and that was the best kill in the entire movie.
The best kill and also the best moment. He's like, yo, Donkey Kong, that was so good. Like, I was having a great time. But then I realized, okay, now this movie is becoming stupid and fantastical. Bro, the freaking, the monkey has you don't know how much you know horror, but he literally had the Halloween theme, like a little bit of a twist on it, because he can't die. And like, it was perfect. And on top of, and that's why, when it got to that scene of like him basically having sex with like a college kid, and then obviously the car scene, I'm like, okay, now this movie being stupid, I can now relax.
Hold on.
But it played it
hold on. For the record, no. Brandon just said he had sex.
Sorry,
Wait, no. You just said that he had sex. The monkey does not have sex with anyone. The monkey just got on top of the. You just said he had sex. The monkey has sex with
I mean, it's a
nobody.
joke.
The monkey got on top of the guy. The guy's like, take me out to dinner first. And then the monkey sticks his fingers and rips his entire jaw out of
Yes.
his face. And he
Yes.
holds the jaw.
Yeah, it
It's
was cool.
it's so much fun. It's
I agree with
amazing.
that part. The kills
And
were
then
good,
you see the guy's lower face with just his tongue because he has no more jaw.
and don't get me started with before, like when we're not with the monkey, before the monkey goes crazy. It felt worse in CW. It felt worse in Riverdale. It was the worst piece of writing and acting. I hated it so much.
It's
It felt
just
so
no.
cheesy.
It's
It was
just.
horrible.
I
I
mean,
hated it.
for sure, I agree. I agree. There's some overdone. Like no one's gonna say that the young teenage cast here, where they're all dumb college students, and
And
they're talking
also,
about.
I have so much to say about this. Sorry, I so screw what you're saying. Like they got an Oscar. He won the Oscar, right? The actor that's deaf.
I was just gonna talk about that.
Yeah, so okay. You're gonna say the opposite, but I'm right. What a genius wasted opportunity it is with this character. They use it
It's
at the
so good
end.
in the movie.
They use it at the end. They should have used it way
It's
more
so
often.
good.
They use it
Oh
for like
yeah,
2 seconds
I know.
at
You're
the
right.
end.
You're completely right. They should have used it way more often. Okay, let's set this up. So this Academy
I know
Award
you're gonna
winning
say
actor.
you're still wrong.
Yeah, no, you don't know what I'm going to say, and I'm so glad that you're appreciating this film for all the great things. So we already mentioned the practical effects. Yes, 100%, Brandon. I'll give you that. The teenage stuff is cheesy. Them partying, their dialogue. I get it. It's not the greatest dialogue ever written, but once you get to the monkey action and you get to the core of the film, you have Academy Award winning actor Troy Kutzer, and he is a deaf actor. He won for Coda a couple years ago. He won Best Supporting Actor. He's an excellent actor. He's an Academy Award winning actor. And along with the practical effects and the practical ape, he brings a real legitimacy to this movie and a real heart. And so when you do have scenes with these young, inexperienced actors, he brings a real heart and sincerity that can ground these big, boisterous, young performances. And he has a great relationship with his two teenage daughters. And that's partly what makes you care even just a little bit. Yes, the
I
writing
didn't care at all.
okay, well I did. Well, the writing is not revolutionary of these archetypes. He's an absent father, or not an absent father, but he's a father that works a lot, and he eventually realizes that what's important to him is his two daughters. I think this brings a beautiful family core to the film and grounds the movie having an Academy Award winning actor. On top of that, you're right. The actor is deaf, and the director and the writers were very smart enough to play around with this idea of having a deaf character in the film, to where you have a POV where he's in the same room with the monkey, but he doesn't know that the monkey has gone crazy because it's deaf. So you just hear silence. You see it from his perspective. It's extremely well done. It's a memorable moment. It's a memorable and extremely well executed moment. I can 100% agree with you. I wish they did it more. I agree with you there. I wish they did it more, but let's appreciate so many of the great aspects of filmmaking in this movie, from practical effects to utilizing an Academy Award winning actor properly to to him selecting such a fun project of this being a horror film. He said in an interview that this reminded him of movies that he saw in the
Shut the fuck.
70s and
Okay, well
80s.
now we're getting out of.
Big
Now we're getting out of.
no, it's serious. He said it reminded him of monster movies from the
We're getting
70s and
out of this.
80s, these type of monster slashers. I mean, Troy Curtis is a great actor. He gives a great performance, and I don't see why you have to hate on it.
If you could listen to me, you would hear I said wasted potential. He was very good in it, but however, he was used wrongly until the end of the scene. It made no. To me, obviously, what like it reminds me of. Unfortunately, I was watching it and I was like, damn. Like when he actually showed up at the end with the monkey actually present, I was like, damn. Hush is so much a better version of this in every capacity. I don't know if you've heard of Hush or seen Hush. It's basically
But
have you
that's
heard of
not this
that?
movie. That's not this
My
movie.
point, but my point is that movie. I know it's not, but I'm saying that they did it better because Hush basically it's basically like it's basically that character was the main character and he went throughout that by himself. Basically, Hush is essentially another horror movie. I think directed by Flanagan. I don't know, but basically where there's a woman in the middle of the cabin, like in the middle of the woods, like living by herself, but she's also deaf. And then a guy tries to basically barge in and kidnap her or kill her or whatever, right? And it plays around with that so much because the whole film is that. Unfortunately, most of the time when it's obviously it's just silent because he's deaf, is in the first half of the movie where he's just there talking to, and there's no tension, there's nothing, and they're the only time there's actual tension and using the benefit of him having death problems or not being able to hear is at the end of it where it's cool for like 2 minutes, but it would have been so much more effective to use it way more often rather than the beginning where it like I agree with you, it does play a little bit more. He's the only he's the only good actor in the film besides the monkey, and it does play a little bit of part, but to me it's just wasted potential because it just not there's nothing in it. You know what I mean? There's no tension. You just hear nothing, and it's cool. I understand what they're trying to do, but it would have been way more. It would have been a lot better if they used that actually for way more time with the actual monkey. You know what I mean? My opinion.
I mean, I just think he brings a real heart to the film. I love that sequence. I agree with you. I wish there was more of sequences like that where they got creative with him being deaf, but I have no problem with how they decided to utilize it. And I have no problem with his performance. I think he makes great sense into this movie. I think he brings, like I said, he brings a grounding to this film. His relationship with those daughters makes you care. And also, that scene is so smart is because he comes back to the house and he doesn't know that this monkey has gone crazy and is killing everyone. So he's looking around, and you as an audience member,
Yeah, I like
suspense
that
is this
part. I understand that.
suspense. Hitchcock says that suspense is this idea that the audience knows more information than the characters on screen, and that's exactly what's being employed here. When we know that the monkey's crazy, he's deaf,
Yeah,
we
for a
can't
minute.
hear anything, he can't hear anything. No, throughout the entire picture. You're making me talk about Primate as if it's one of the greatest films ever made. Don't get me wrong. Primate has its issues, like Brennan has
I think a
highlighted.
better movie would
I
have
have
been him.
issues with it.
I think a
I
better.
have I have I have issues with the teenage cast. I have issues with some of their line delivery. But once the kills start getting going, you have gory, great practical effects. You have interesting, memorable kills. You have characters that are interesting enough to get you interested. You have an Academy Award winning actor who really brings a great presence as the father. Primate is a good time at the movies.
No. I also do think like it would have been a much better film if they just focused on if they just made a different film of him with the monkey and just him being the death actor he is. Like use that natural advantage to the film and make it just a 90-minute spectacle of just sound design stuff like that with a monkey or whatever you want with an Oscar winning actor that's actually deaf. I think that would have been a much more interesting movie. And on top of that, it's unfrustrating because there were some smart moves decisions made in this film. Like the one of the girls that died. Because I was thinking, if you're in that situation as well, obviously this man was distracted by noise, right? The monkey was distracted by noise, even though it's a chimpanzee was distracted by noise. Which only one time it did it, which was smart. I was thinking at the whole film. Why don't you throw something in a different direction of the chimpanzee if it's going to be in the area so you could attract it for at least a second? One of them did that for 1 second. That was really good, but then the rest of the time it didn't. It was dumb. But I don't know. I just you know and also, like, yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, and on top of that, to me, just the tone didn't work for me. The tonal shift was too abrupt, and I was
There's
like,
no
okay, now
tonal
I get
shift.
it
It was
after that. But I was already
extremely
pissed off the whole
the tone was extremely
bro. It was a
consistent.
comedy. It became a comedy. It became bro. What the whole
No, it
like
has
the
no,
scene
it did not
of the with
become
the
a
college
comedy. It
kid,
has it has comedy elements, okay? Like why you're acting
like
like the
what
first
before that? What
hour
was it? What was
you're
funny? What was funny
you're
about
acting
it?
like the first hour the teenagers talking and then they
Tell
said
me what was
hello, welcome
funny.
to
That was funny to
the
you?
teenagers ta- the teenagers talking and they answer welcome to the whorehouse and it was the neighbor, a woman, an old lady neighbor answered the phone and they go welcome to the whorehouse. That's comedy. No, it was did I die laughing on the screen? No, but there's comedy throughout the picture and those two characters from the very beginning have been idiots. The first scene of those two characters is them on the airplane being idiots flirting with the girls. So when they arrive to the house and he sees a monkey, he's going to be an idiot. So don't act like there's some big tonal shift
I
as if
thought
the
that was
first hour
yeah. I
don't act like the first hour is this serious, hard hitting drama, and
no.
then all of a sudden it gets
I'm saying
crazy. The movie's bananas the whole way through.
I'm saying I'm not. You're understanding. The first 30 minutes before the chimpanzee goes crazy, but obviously besides the first like the
Are the
opening crawl
worst part of the
was
movie. The first
and
20
yeah,
minutes are the
obviously,
worst
and
part of
that
the
I
movie.
agree. That was trying to be funny. It wasn't, but it was trying to
Uh
be. I'm
huh.
talking
I
about
agree.
when the chimpanzee gets infected, when it becomes more serious. I'm saying it was a serious to me. It was a very serious film, most of the things that we were seeing seemed realistic, besides the dumb decisions. And all of a sudden, it became a comedy. That's what I'm saying. Not the beginning of them. I'm saying when the chimpanzee went
You're
crazy, it was a serious movie in my opinion. And all of a sudden,
there's
he
no
started making out
dramatic.
with the teenager, and he started opening doors.
There's He didn't make out with any teenagers again for the record. This is fake news from Brandon Talks coming to you live. Well, I mean, I disagree. I think
And top of that, like
I had tons of fun with Primate. Again, Academy Award winning actor, very interesting project for him to select
you
to
keep
be in.
saying that, but
You have
he was
you have
wasted.
he was not wasted. He was excellent in the film and he really grounds the movie like I said. And then you have a real guy in a monkey suit. You have a real guy in a
Oh,
goddamn monkey
I know
suit,
you're wrong. You're
and
just saying
it's
oh yeah, we have
incredible.
Oscar guy in there, you have a monkey guy in there, makes it good. Shut up.
Wait, no, no, no. Yes, these are aspects of the film that allow me to appreciate it and elevate this from a standard shitty January horror movie. That's why I give it a 6 out of 10, because there are many great things in this movie. Great kills, great practical effects, a real practical monkey, not no CGI bullshit, and an Academy Award winning actor that is utilized well.
Yeah, I disagree. I like the practical effects, even though that
I
fine. Like
know
that's why
that,
I
but
didn't give it.
I,
I
you
didn't
know,
give it a. I give it a. I only gave it two less than you. So I didn't hate this
you know,
film.
I, I just think you
But,
should appreciate the film more. I think you should appreciate the film more because I
well,
think you're
obviously, if you, yeah, you think
underappreciating.
I should review it two more than you, two more than not what I gave it. I know, but
I,
unfortunately,
I do, I do.
yeah, you think that'd
You
be a six.
talking to you makes me want to bring this up to an 8, but
I
I
know you're
won't.
talking. You're
I won't.
talking.
But
See, you're talking about it as if it's Hamnet once again. And you're like, oh,
no,
Oscar-winning
I
performances,
stop,
practical
stop,
effects.
stop,
You
stop,
know,
stop, stop, stop.
you
No, I
have
don't.
these like this.
You're being disingenuous right now. I don't appreciate you being disingenuous right now. You're really being disingenuous. I think Hamnet is a much better film than Primate. But what I'm saying is, Primate is the best film of 2026 because it's the only film I've seen in 2026. And
um,
so,
I
Primate is a
enjoy
fun time at the movies. Take your girlfriend, take your dad,
wasted
uh,
potential. Any
take your
horror film, take
cousins.
yeah. Any horror film is a good time to anybody watch it with, but it's
No,
the
it's
waste of
not.
potential.
No, it's
In an
not.
artistic sense,
They're
waste of
shitty horror
potential.
movies. Oh, Primate was better than the last Conjuring.
No, I didn't like that one either.
All right, at least for somebody, at least somebody's using their brain.
I think I give it the same score, a little bit worse. I don't
Listen,
know.
I just don't know what you expected from Primate. Like, what would you have wanted?
That's a good. See. That's probably the best thing you've said all podcast. Like I said, I love original horror more than like more than like franchise horror. But like I said, I just didn't. I went in blind. I didn't even see a trailer. I went in blind. And I just expect, like I said, I thought I was getting a movie, then I went to another movie, and I was just frustrated because, like I said, because some of the characters did show some intelligence, and they wouldn't all of a sudden. I did enjoy the aspect of them actually trying to like being stuck in a pool. That was a really unique aspect which I enjoyed, and obviously having the daughter or the sister be infected, that was a really cool touch as well because
That house was the house was beautiful, huh?
that was, and it did add to the fact of them having nowhere else to turn to.
Right. But that cliffside's scary though. I wouldn't swim in that pool.
And I wouldn't go near it when there's a fucking chimpanzee around it, but who knows? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe like come on, man.
Oh
But
my god. No, the opening kill when the chimpanzee rips the guy's face off.
yeah,
Great stuff.
that was
Great
really good.
practical
But at
effects.
the same time,
Hold on.
I maybe
What did you Brandon, what did you like about the movie?
the effects were very well done. I didn't know it was
I
practical or
agree.
not, but I could tell something was added. So like, I didn't know it was practical. I could tell something was off, like in
The
a good way,
monkey was
or like
excellent.
on. Yes.
This is what I want. It's just that like this is what I want from from a horror movie like this. Like what more
But
could I
I think
want?
since you are a cinephile, right, registered cinephile, I think you're giving this movie more praise than it probably deserves because of the fact that it's leading towards ways that are very much something that you appreciate as a big cinephile, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes.
I
And
will
so, and as
yes,
some,
I
and
will
I,
admit my biases. Yes.
yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And I can appreciate it too, but I'm saying like, I think because a lot of the techniques are old school Hollywood, you appreciate it more than probably the average person does. That's
Yes,
fair to say. Okay.
if you give me a shitty CGI monkey, it's gonna look like a shitty CGI monkey at the end of the day. Instead of putting a
Yeah.
goddamn guy in a monkey suit and we really go bananas.
All right. That was the podcast, guys. Oh, I appreciate the practical effects. I appreciate the limited screen time of that of 20 the death actor. He was really good when he was used. Actually, I do think he was wasted at the first. Like I said, I think it was very waste. Like it was just. I know he's like death, but I was annoying like from what it could have been considering that we saw like when he was talking to his daughters, you could like it was just silent, right? Like you would be in his perspective sometimes, and it was frustrating considering that we could have had that more of the film when the actual chimpanzee went crazy. Because if actually when the chimpanzee did go crazy, like he noticed within like a minute after, right? Like there were some scenes where we obviously which was cool where you just saw a chimpanzee and you could just see him, not hear him. But he realized pretty quickly, and then it was just like a bloodbath between them. But anyway, I enjoyed him. I really like the design of it all. I thought it was really. I love that. I cannot stress enough how much I love the pool idea. As much as some of the decisions we made, where I think were too dumb, I did enjoy how that was like a cool thing to. Like I said, I didn't even know chimpanzees couldn't swim. I learned that too. But this guy knows that. But okay, whatever. And also, why is there like a random? I mean, why is there like a random rope in the middle of the pool? Why was that about? Why is there ropes? There's like
What
a rope by
ropes?
the pool. It's tied the monkey, but it was like the chimpanzee, but it was like by the pool.
No,
Also,
they
this
took it.
chimpanzee
Remember
is
at
low
the
key, this chimpanzee is freaking it's literally like Jason. Like bro literally would like jump out of nowhere. He also was like climbing. That's what I'm saying. One of the biggest problems I had once again is that if we're all in the pool together and we're stuck, right? One of us has to be looking at the chimpanzee at all times. Like they didn't know where he was half the time.
Brandon, like,
So I can't allow any. I can't. Like I said, I literally gave me like 10 things that were dumb. I can't get what I. So everything has to be like. I can't have either one thing that's dumb. I can't get one. They all have to be the idiotic, stupid stuff. I can't like. Come on, man. One after
Brandon,
another
I
after
just
another.
can't.
It's
I mean, it's just the like at the end of the day, no matter what, these
like how
movies
did
are
they not
about one
notice
thing.
the monkey was climbing the lights in the pool? What the?
Because they were so excited that they finally had a phone.
Oh my
They
god!
finally
Like
they were all
yeah,
fixated on their devices.
yeah, they're all
Listen, Brandon.
idiots.
I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't want to argue with you anymore because at the end of the day, it comes down to did you buy in or didn't you buy in? And we both agree that that first 20 minutes is rough, and you think you're in for a rough time. But once that monkey starts killing people, you're in for a good time. You're tense. You're into it. At least for me. And you didn't connect with it. You didn't work with it.
Also very
Do I think
predictable.
it's again? I don't care if it's predictable. Like, do I think it's groundbreaking? No. Do I think it's a fun horror movie with practical effects and a cool central performance from an Academy Award winning
It
actor?
wasn't no central. He was in the movie for like 10 minutes overall. What do you mean central?
No, he was
The late
longer than
the
10 minutes.
even the freaking college guys had more screen time than him. God damn it!
No, 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 that's wrong.
Central
At the end of the
performance. What type
at
of
the end of the
bullshit?
day,
He had like 10 minutes.
end of the day, what I love about Primate, at the end of the day, when you take away the monkey, when you take away the blood, this is a movie about family. This is a
Oh,
movie about a father who's so caught up in his work life
I
that he
know, but it's the
forgets to
most.
realize ep,
Yeah.
that he
Oh, and then you go back to the house, and then the house is monkey
and it's
time.
about a father and he forgets to realize what's the most important thing in his life, and that's his two daughters.
So you like,
And
so
that's
you
what's
like that in
beautiful.
monkey, but you don't like that in sentimental value, huh? Look at fucking real, huh?
L- Let me tell you, Primate better than sentimental value. Primate is better than sentimental
It's the
value.
same
Okay.
thing. You have a reluctant dad that's like, he's too busy
Primate
working.
Primate says more about father-daughter relationships than sentimental value. I said it. Quote me. All right,
Uh,
quote me. Sentimental value, not good. Primate,
and
very good.
I wish they utilized the soundboard a little bit more. That was a fun touch, but I wish they added more to it. You know, it would be funny if he had it like most of the time when he was killing. That'd be fun.
All right,
Like I
so
really enjoyed that scene of like her, like what's her name, like something bad, like her Lydia bad. Lydia, I enjoyed that.
yeah,
Like when he's
yeah,
on
the
top, that was
actress.
cool. That was cool.
Right. I'm glad you like that.
Like I said, I'm also biased because I love horror, so I enjoyed my time there. Funny
and
enough,
I love
like
practical effects.
yeah. So even though I give it 4 out of 10, it's just because I love horror so much. I enjoyed watching it, but I just say all these problems I have with it cannot, like I said, I've just seen so much better. Like I think Hush is a way better example of this. You know,
All
but
right, Brennan. Sorry I couldn't convince you on Primate, but I think it's a really fun film and the best movie of 2026. That's going to conclude our Primate conversation and our Golden Globes coverage. We're very excited for continued January releases. We're also very excited to continue following the awards race. Next week, we will be talking about 28 Years Later, Bone Temple. We're going to talk all things 28 franchise. So from 28 days all the way to the 28 years later. We're going to give our review, our thoughts. Brandon, anything else you want to say?
yeah, we're also going to be talking about Sundance. I will be attending the following, not next week my podcast, but the other week after that I'll be attending. So we're going to talk about some of the movies coming into Sundance, also
Yep.
about moving to Boulder, Colorado next year, what it means to be indie film festival, etc. Just everything movies, right? Because we always talk big blockbusters, but a lot of the Oscar movies are from these film festivals. So I think it'll be an interesting debate and discussion.
And we're very excited for Brandon to be covering the Sundance Film Festival. And this is an extra special Sundance since this is the first Sundance, unfortunately, without Robert Redford.
Yep, and the last one in Park City, so it's going to be a bunch of very
It's a historic
special things.
Sundance.
Yep. So
Yeah,
it's going to be an
absolutely.
exciting episode. But thank you guys as always for watching, hearing us debate and scream about the things we all love to watch. And it's been Brandon Talks and CJ. Anything else to add before I sign off?
Go watch Primate.
Go watch Primate, especially with your friends. It's always hard to have a bad time at a movie if it's a horror with your friends and family.
Oh, did you watch it by yourself?
Of course I did.
Oh,
So
poor
I'll see.
Brandon.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I like watching horror. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good, take care, everybody. See you guys.
Thank you guys.